How did you go about defining and sharing your vision at that point?
I was kind of lucky in some ways. My director at the time that hired me on, she was essentially sharing some of the challenges they were facing on the platform. And, all of it stemmed from that lack of governance and really just managed services saying yes, because we were paying a bill, saying, hey, do this, do this. And anytime anybody within the organization, no matter where they were located globally, um, if they came to the managed service partner and said, hey, we want this done within ServiceNow, it was just kind of a, yeah, we'll go ahead and do it for you, right? And she was of the mentality, the director that hired me, of like, let's blow this thing up. Like, I want to start it all over again. And really, right away when I started talking to her about that, we were discussing, how do we strategically do that the best way and the right way? And that decision came down to the vision to your point was, let's go ahead and re-platform ServiceNow. And that term, right, for those that aren't familiar with replatforming, really is let's go ahead and stand up a brand new instance of ServiceNow, and let's try and do things from a best practice, sort of out of the box perspective. We don't really call it customizations, or we don't approach things from a customization perspective any longer. It's really more of a configuration, right? You go into things that are already there. And if you're not going through and changing sort of some of the core things, the business rules that are out of the box, the script includes all the technical stuff that people probably are going to fall asleep trying to listen to on this podcast. But those things that are technical components, right? Saying, let's not really touch those things, but let's figure out how we can properly configure the system so that it meets the needs, but also allows us to continue to have those major instance upgrades and those new capabilities, brought forth. So we're able to leverage those things. One big piece of that too that I'll hit on is ServiceNow. They started out really as an IT service management solution, incident problem change, ticketing solution in that regards with Service Catalog. And over the years, right, they've expanded, right? HR, they went into SecOps, they're going into OT, operational technologies, even, legal service delivery. There's so many things that it's doing nowadays beyond just IT service management. When organizations like ADS and others started using it, at the time, it didn't have capabilities they needed. So they were using App Engine and a lot of other things to custom build solutions and ticketing tools for those capabilities that weren't there. And so, over the 6 years, we were saying, hey, we need to use some HR capabilities. And we built our own sort of custom HR case solution and other things too on the platform. And those were a big piece, I think, of some of that technical debt we talk about. But ServiceNow brought those things into the platform over time. And so we were at an intersection where, hey, we've got this custom app that does these things. ServiceNow has released this thing, and they continue each release to improve upon it and give more capabilities. And our stakeholders, within HR and within other areas of AES are saying, we would love to be able to do that as well. Well, we can't just bolt those things onto our custom application. It just builds more and more technical debt. And so, you start to say, I want to use those out of the box capabilities. And of course, there's licensing costs that come with that, right? And ServiceNow is not an inexpensive tool to use. So you start saying, hey, we want to leverage those capabilities. How do we do that best? And I think replatforming for us checked the boxes of saying, hey, we're not going to be carrying a lot of those custom built applications and capabilities. We're going to start fresh. And to the vision point, right? We're going to give AES what they need when it comes to, we want to be able to do some legal service delivery stuff, or we want to do some OT stuff or HR stuff. And we can use those out of the box capabilities and get the improvements that ServiceNow is giving us on top of that. And so we really built that from there, right? The vision of, these are the things that we want to do as far as our roadmap's concerned. But let's kind of crawl, walk, run. Let's get ourselves to the point of where we need to be with the best practice out of the box solution and kind of go from there.